Okay, so let's do our words here. Okay, so first word, who's got it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we'll go with Nora first. Katon. Everybody say katon.
Katon.
So give it to me. Let me get my marker. Give it to me.
Kof. A. Tech. T. No.
No vowel.
O. No suffix. No N.
Now you usually see it with this thing, but like I said, because of the to make that distinction, we're using the key here. Okay, back in the older times they would use the key, but today people mostly use the K. But katon, and so anybody know what katon is?
No, katan is big. No.
You're close. So I'm wearing tonight a talit katan.
Small.
A small. Okay. So talit katan is a small talit. Okay. So katon is small, little. Okay, who's got it? Daniel's got it. Do you have it, Daniel? No. Charity? Huh? Okay, but notice, let's see if I have it. Just notice the difference between this letter and this letter. So who else has it? Everybody else? Okay, Marcy. Ra. Yeah. It's a resh. Okay. You guys have to be careful to make the distinction because they look alike. Okay, that's one of those letters that has something. The other one is what? Marcy corrected my grammar up here, my spelling up here, because you have the kaf and the bay look alike. All you have to do is take that little line off. So you have the kaf and the bay, they look alike. All you have to do is take this off and it's a kaf. So, put it back on there. So there are several letters that kind of look alike and you have to be careful. The nun and the kaf also look alike. All right, so what do we have here?
Resh.
Resh.
R. A.
Ayin, and it has no sound. Okay, so it's silent. So you have what?
Ra.
Ra.
Evil or bad?
Very good. Evil. Bad. Okay? Who has it? Okay, Cody? Tamim. Good. So give it to me. So everyone say Tamim.
Tamim.
Say it again. Tamim. And Tamim means what? Tamim means perfect or complete. Tamim. Next one you should know. 1, 2, 3. Charity's like, I know this one. All right, Charity, go ahead. Tov. Very good, everyone. Tov. Okay, give it to me. So there's no vowel.
Right. Base, but with a B.
And Tov means good. Tov. But I would say to Charity, because she's a female, I would say what? Tova. Tova. All right. Next one. 1, 2, 3. Emilio, you got it?
Rob.
Good, Rob. So give it to me.
Rish. A.
Everybody say Rav.
Rav.
Okay. Notice. Not Ra. It's close. Rav. Okay. Spelling's a little bit different. So you have Rav. And Rav means? Huh? You're close. No. Huh? Means great.
So it's the same thing as so what's the difference between Rav and Gavot?
This has more to do
With a person?
with numbers, I would say. Many. It also means much. Okay, this is the root word for rabbi. This is the root of rabbi, Ravi. Okay? How? Well, you would harden it. Ravi. Which is used euphemistically to say master, teacher, those kinds of things.
So that's why Rav Shalom.
Correct. The great Shalom is basically what you're saying. You're that Rav is short for rabbi. Ravi. Okay, so you say Rav Shalom, the great Shalom. Yes?
For Moshe Rabbeinu.
Moshe Rabbeinu. So Rabbeinu basically being our rabbi. Okay. So the E here, Ravi, the E here, that states first person possession, first person personal possession, Ravi. So basically, you're saying my great one. Now. It is used oftentimes, like in the English New Testament, that word is translated as, Ravi is translated as master, that they call him master, okay? But technically, master is Baal, okay? Baal, as in Baal, as in the god, okay? You get into the sacred name stuff and everything, and they'll say, well, Baal, that's the name of a god. Well, yes, it is, because he was the master god. Okay, and that meaning what? Baal was the master god, meaning what? Yes, he was the god over all the other gods. He was the head god. Okay, but in Hebrew, Baal denotes ownership. Master as in ownership. So if you go to somebody's house, if you're a salesman in Israel and you go to somebody's house and you knock on the door, they're going to ask you for the Baal. They want to talk to the Baal, meaning what? the man of the house. Okay? Who's the one who can make the decision? And so the Baal, the man of the house, is called the Baal. He's the master of the house. Okay? Now, there will be people in the sacred name movement, and they will say, they'll say, well, that's the term Lord. You know, that's what. So we shouldn't use the term Lord because they want to use the name or whatever. So they're saying, well, that's the term Lord. In Hebrew, no. The term Lord is what? Adon. Adon. Okay? Adonai means my Lord. Okay, which is the term that we use for Yud Kei Vav He. Adonai, my Lord. Okay? So they're saying, well, Lord and Master, well, these are the names for, this is Baal, and so we shouldn't use those terms. That's silliness. Okay? So just understand that. So this is where Ravi comes from. Ravi, they called him Rav Yeshua. Okay? That is, he was their master, he was their teacher, he was the head of the school that he was leading. It was a school. Salud. It was a school. They were Talmid. They were Talmidim. They were we're waiting. Thank you. All right. So they were Talmidim, meaning they were students. Okay? You have Talmid, means student, comes from Talmud, which means discipline. All that has to do with Ravi. Ravi was the head guy. Okay, he was the teacher. His followers were called Talmidim, not just with Yeshua, but with all people like this. The rabbi had his followers, his students. They were called Talmidim, and he gave them Talmud. He gave them discipline. He would discipline them, saying what? He would teach them. Okay, so. We have one more. Everybody got this?
Just
Yes,
to clarify, you mentioned the Hebrew word Baal is master or owner,
Yes.
and the word that we find that says they worship Baal,
Baal, yes. Mhm.
Is that not the Hebrew word? Is that
In other words, what they have done is they have taken a regular noun and they have turned it into a personal, a name.
okay.
Okay? But that doesn't mean that the word in and of itself is bad, which is what that group tries to say.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay? So they, well, anytime Baal is mentioned, that it's bad. No, that's not true. Okay?
Thank you for clarifying.
No problem. That's what we're here for. All right, so our last word.
Zad.
Zad. Okay? Give it to me.
Zain, Z, A, Resh, R.
Zad. Everybody say Zad.
Zad.
Now see, now here, because you have a word that's very close sounding to it, which is Sad. So you have to make sure that they understand that you're saying Zad. 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 Okay? So everybody say Zad.
Zad.
And what is Zad? No clue, she
I
said.
don't know yet.
Well, you'll know right now. Because some of you are Sad Visara. Alright? Which means
Oh, strange.
Thank you.
I'll take that now.
the idea of strange here is not,
Weird.
yes, it's not weird strange. That,
It's more like foreign.
yes, the strange, the weird strange is related to that. but it's not that. So this is more of a foreign. And the reason why I gave you this word tonight is because you're going to have this word come up.
Isha Sarah. Strange one.
Isha, Sarah.
Yes. A strange word.
Wait, what?
Isha Zara.
Woman.
Huh?
Strange woman.
A strange word.
Woman strange.
Yes. Yes, don't remember that Hebrew reverses the adjectives and the nouns. Okay, just like a lot of Spanish. Not always in Spanish, but a lot of times in Spanish it's reversed from English. So Hebrew most of the time. All right. Okay, 5 minutes. Talking about the adjective inflection. You remember what inflection is?
Yes. The ending of a word which implies whether it's singular, plural, feminine, or masculine. Yeah.
So what happens with inflection?
A change in the form of a word.
Do what?
Yeah.
A change in the form.
A change in the form of a word. So technically what inflection is a change of spelling, which is what we've demonstrated here. All right? So here you have masculine singular, masculine plural, feminine singular, feminine plural. The X represents any of the consonants. Okay? So X represents any of the consonants. You can put any of the consonants in them. Okay? So masculine singular, it's going to end, masculine singular is going to end with whatever consonant, and that's it. As in sad, as we were talking about, all right, you have sad. Everybody with me? So it ends with what? Resh. So this would be the end. So that's the end of the word, sad. That's a masculine noun, masculine singular noun. Okay, everybody with me?
Yes.
All right. So feminine singular, you have the last word of the masculine, and then you add the he. So you add the he. And now you have Sarah. Okay? So you're going to add this, and that makes it. See, that made it. Right there, if you stop there, that was masculine singular. Now you add this, and it's what? Feminine singular. Got it? Okay. This is, Raul posted something on Messenger a few days ago, concerning a prayer in which they used the term Elohim Yeshua. So you have this term. And what I was explaining was that it's not Elohim Yeshua, okay? Because they had the Hebrew at the top of the video. It's Elohim Yeshua. You see why? You see what's happening here? Because this is a noun. We call this what? Yes, but we call this, when you have two nouns, a construct. Okay? So you have a construct, a chain going on here. You have the two nouns side by side. Which means what? It's a means of possession. And we use possession, we use the term of, but the of is understood. So Elohim Yeshua, Elohim, it means Yeshua. Yes. So you have the construct there in the midst of that bracha, Elohim Yeshua. Okay? So the word for salvation, Yeshua, is feminine singular. How do we know? Right there. It ends with a hey. So now, when you have this, you shall call his name Yeshua, salvation, but Yeshua is female form, okay? So you cannot call his name by a female form. So what? In order to make it masculine?
Drop the H.
And what's the last letter? Ayin, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the last letter is going to be a consonant, ayin. Huh?
So, and that's silent?
Ayin.
Oh, I'm.
Yes. Right there. Okay, so ayin, that will make it what now? Now you drop the feminine form, now you've got masculine singular. But only as a proper name. His name is salvation. Salvation in Hebrew is a feminine noun. But his name, because he's a male, you have to make it into a masculine noun. So you drop the he, that turns it into a masculine noun. Okay? But it's still salvation. Yes?
I was going to say that. Even in Israel today, the ayin is dropped.
Right, they even drop the ayin, well, but they're doing that as a slur. To slander, yes. So you have Yeshua, okay? Yeshua, can everybody see? So you have Yeshua. Technically it would be that with the he at the end, Yeshua. Okay? So to make it masculine, you drop that. Now you're ending it with an ayin. That makes it masculine because it's another consonant, not the he. Okay? In Israel, they even take that off and they just call him by Yeshua, which means forgotten. They won't speak his name. Okay? So, everybody got that? All right. So you have the masculine singular, sa. You have the feminine singular. You have the he. Okay. So when you add the he, that is an inflection to the root. You've made an inflection. You've made a change to the root. Got it? From male to female. So let's use the adjective for good. Okay? The adjective for good, which is what? Tov. Use this because everybody's familiar with it, right? So, the bet here is the X. Got it? So that means that this is in what form?
This is a masculine.
Masculine singular. It's a masculine singular form. Now if I want to put it into feminine singular, what? I've got to make an inflection. I have to change the ending, which means what?
You add the he.
So I'm going to add the he. So now you have what?
Tova.
Tova. Okay? So now I have feminine singular.
Okay. So then how would you, I've heard it made plural masculine, but not feminine.
Okay?
Plural.
So, another inflection. Good. Follow the pattern. So masculine plural. Here, the be here, that's the X, right? And so my pair is what? Yud, Mem. So I have Yud, Mem. This should be over here. Okay, so now I have what? Tovim. Usually the Y is not going to appear in the transliteration, but we're putting it in so that you can see the Yud there. Okay, so it's Tovim. And Tovim is what then?
Masculine.
Masculine plural.
Masculine plural. So, the question is, how do I make it the other? Feminine plural. So look at your pattern there.
Tovot.
Good.
I guess because you don't hear it.
Total. So, which one is it? Yes. Okay, can everybody see? What is that?
But.
But. Meaning? Daughter. Okay? So, that is what? Feminine? Singular. Alright? So I want to say good daughters.
Batot. Wait, no. Because they both have to match.
Exactly, they have to match.
Oh.
So if you have feminine, singular, it must be feminine. How did we make it feminine? Got it? Batova. Good daughter. Okay? So I could say Charity Batova. I would be lying, but I could say that. No, I'm just playing. She can't get too proud. Super humble. Welcome to the family. Okay? Come on. Okay, so now what? Batot, meaning?
Daughters.
So it is.
Feminine plural.
So now what? So these changes at the end are called inflection. So everybody say inflection.
Inflection.
So you have the original word, bat, right? Now I changed it to batot to make it plural. So this is the plurality here, that's the inflection. Okay? Tova, from tov. Okay? So right here, this is the root. When I add the he, that's the inflection. So this is inflection. This is inflection. This is inflection. Everybody got it?
Yes.
That's the change. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so Sad is prince.
Yes.
That's masculine, singular.
Correct.
To make it feminine, singular, it's Sarah.
Correct.
To make Sad plural, masculine plural, it's Sarim. And to make it feminine plural, it would be Sarot.
Yes.
But there are some exceptions.
There's always the exception to
There's
the
always
rule.
exceptions. But
You're getting something. Yes.
yes, I'm getting this connection.
Give her a hand. Hey, click. If only I would click with all of you. No.
We don't want to break it
No.
down.
Good. You will notice this as we're going along. It's going to start clicking with you. The more you try to read it, the more you attend, the more you're going to understand. Okay? If you follow along with the brachot on Shabbat and you listen carefully, you're going to start hearing these sounds coming out. Okay? You're going to start making connections. Okay? But the only way to do it is to study. So when you go home, study. Okay? Study your notes. There are hundreds of sites online that you can get on that have simple Hebrew, simple, just even getting the Torah, the Hebrew Torah, and online.
A lot of the apps have the Nikud now too.
So you can practice reading. Okay? So you make mistakes. Well, we all did, right? Don't worry about that. Just try to sound it out. And yes, you're going to feel and sound like a first grader trying to learn how to read. Guess what? It's what you are. Okay? Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed because you're a lot further along than a whole lot of people. Okay? And I can tell you right now, there are a lot of people who would love to be able to do what you're doing. So don't be embarrassed of it. Don't be ashamed. I get calls, I get messages all the time, people wanting to learn Hebrew and this and that, and that's why we keep these classes going, because there's an interest. There's a lot of people who are interested in these things. So practice, practice, practice. Okay. All right. So you notice with this example, with these examples, this first set of inflection, there's no change in the vowel structure here. Okay, so for example, tov, simply adding this on, but there's no change to this vowel structure. You got me?
Yes.
It stays the same. Same here. The word stays the same, the word stays the same. The only inflection, the only change is at the end, is with the end. Yes?
And would you ever have a masculine noun that isn't changed to feminine? Like you couldn't, like goy, right? Goy is the nations.
Yes. Yeah.
Goyim is the nations or the people.
Correct.
Right? Is that ever used as
In a feminine
in a
term,
feminine term?
that's like I was explaining with Yeshua.
Right.
Salvation, it's feminine. Okay? They had to, it is put into a forced masculine situation because he is a male.
Right.
And that's his name. So yes, in those terms.
I know that's a
No, well,
question.
well, see, you have the same situation with Yonah.
Yom,
Yonah.
Yonah.
Okay? Yonah means,
Yonah.
okay, but it means
Oh, I don't know what it means.
dove. Yonah means dove. Okay? It is a female form. It is in female form.
Even Moshe's name ends with
Okay? But because the prophet is what?
Masculine.
They have to drop the hey. So only as if it's a name, only if it's coming in as a name, does it drop. Otherwise, no, it's always going to be female or masculine. Yes. So what?
Moshe is the exception.
Moshe is the exception.
Because his name ends with a hey. He's a male.
But in the English, they don't end it with an H. English transliteration?
Moses.
Yeah, but no,
It's Eve.
it's always like this.
Oh.
So, I'll check, see what happens there. All right. So, back to this. So, the root form never changes, okay? So, that is, now you have certain ones. Let's see. Okay. Everybody got this? Julie.
Go watch the video.
So now you're going to have the pre-Platonic reduction. How many of you remember that? The pre-Platonic reduction. So you have a root. So these represent the root consonants. Okay, so you have a root. And let's say you have this and you have this. So do you remember how you make a pre-Platonic reduction? Pro-Platonic reduction. So how do you do that here? So this, remember this, drops, it changes to this. Remember that? Then this becomes this, and now this. Remember that? About 2 weeks ago? This vowel changes to this, which means what? This becomes, if I'm writing it out as a transliteration, it would be
Like if you're writing it out
This.
in a transliteration, it would be like the V, like a vav.
well, no, it
Well,
would
like
be.
if we're writing a letter, like if we're writing a word out. Like, okay, I can do that.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. All right. So, yashat, which is a word we had last week. Am I writing big enough for y'all? Can you see? So I have yasat. Yashat. Yashat means upright. So pre-Platonic reduction is going to be a change of the vowels. This is the inflection. So there's going to be an inflection at the front and at the back. Okay, there's going to be a change at the front and at the back. So yashad means upright. So this is what? Gender and number.
Masculine singular.
Masculine singular. Okay. If I want to make this word feminine singular, I must do it through pre-Platonic reduction. So I'm going to say, so how do I make it? How do I make it feminine?
You have the hay.
at the hay. This vowel is going to be reduced, which is what this means. Remember, this stands for the comma. This is just a short sound.
So you should have.
So, yes, so it's going to be reduced. Yishara. Why? Because the lengthening occurs here. Instead of here, yashad. Now the lengthening is pushed down because I've added on a syllable, so the lengthened syllable is pushed down the line. You see what I'm saying? So the first syllable is reduced. Everybody with me? So yishara. Everybody? Yishara. Okay? So this is inflection. Through prepotonic reduction. In other words, I've shortened this syllable here. The first syllable has been shortened in its sound. Okay? Yeshara. So now this is what? Because I've added the hey, that tells you what? Automatically, it tells you what? Female what?
Feminine singular.
Alright. My yid is kind of down like a comma down here. Alright, so help me out.
Yesharim.
Yisharim, alright, same thing. You're going to have the reduction. Okay, sounds are going to be pushed down. Yisharim. So you have the, with the yud there, you have the reduction.
And so when we're transliterating it,
It will look like this.
apostrophe. Okay.
Yes.
Isha, is that masculine or feminine?
Yashad, which one?
Yeah, the top.
Okay. This one here?
Yeah.
Okay, so it ends in a resh, so what?
Masculine?
Yes. Okay, just the hey and the taf for the most part. Not always, but for the most part. If it's a hey or a ta that's telling you that it's feminine, all the other consonants are masculine. If it ends in any of the others, almost always. There's an exception to every rule. So this is what then? Gender and number?
Masculine.
Masculine?
Plural.
Plural. Okay, masculine form? Plural. Masculine plural. Right there. So now what? I have two inflections taking place here. An inflection at the beginning and an inflection at the end. Okay?
Come on.
So now I have what? The shout. Okay? So I have the prepotonic reduction of the first syllable. Okay? With what? What's the ending? Gender number? Feminine plural. So, there are some forms. What I'm showing you here, the reason why we're going through this is what I'm showing you is that there are some adjectives where, like tov, where the root does not change. The only inflection is that I add on endings. Okay? That's the only one. But the root itself always stays the same. This vowel always stays the same. It always stays the same. Now what I'm showing you here is that on some adjectives, what? There is a change to the vowels at the beginning and at the end. Okay? So you have inflection by preplatonic reduction, and you have inflection by gender and number, by plurality. Okay? Everybody with me? So be aware of those. Okay? What are you looking for? You're always looking for the root. Almost always it's going to be 3 letters. You're always looking for the root, and almost always it's going to be 3 letters. That will tell you what the word is about. Then you deduce, by looking at it, you deduce what they're doing with it. Okay, I just feminized it there. The root is the same, right? Remember that in much of the signage in Israel, remember that in the Torah scroll, there are no vowel markers. So none of this is going to be there. You're just going to have to simply go by that. That's going to tell you what? Here's your root, and I've just done what to it? Feminized it. Okay? Here's your root, and I've just done what? Remember, this isn't going to be here, so I'm looking here, so I've just done what?
I made it plural.
Plural. Masculine plural. Okay? Same thing here. No vowels. What have I done to it?
Then they're in a plural.
Like that. Got it? Okay, 5 minutes.